Peace and Black Power family. Welcome to another episode of New Knowledge Radio, place where knowledge is born. This is your host, Knowledge Born a Lot, and we got royalty in the building. Okay, we got blessed
Hey,
today. We got blessed today. Okay, we got an entrepreneur, we got a visionary, we got an author, we got a thought leader. We have so many things wrapped up in one. This is the Black woman alchemist right here. You understand what I'm saying? The
hey,
everything
hey.
lady is in the okay. So
Think
let's
so, think so.
welcome to the show the amazing motivational mind, Ashley.
Ashley,
Welcome to
hey.
the show. How you feeling? How you feeling? How you feeling?
I
How
am
you
doing
feeling? How
awesome,
you feeling?
awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for having me. It's such a joy and a pleasure to be a guest on Do the Knowledge Radio today. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Got Black Truth Media. We got the home of Black Motivation Broadcast. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
How are you feeling? Amidst
I am feeling
everything that's going
amazing.
on.
You know, even in the midst of everything that's going on right now, God is still blessing me. So, God is
100%.
in the blessing business. So while we are
Yep.
going through a pandemic, an election
Mm-hmm.
year, civil
Mm-hmm.
unrest. No, we got a lot
Mm-hmm.
going on. We got a lot on our plates right now. But right now, I am feeling good because God is still good. That's
That's
what
what
it
I'm
is.
talking about. So for you, how did you get your start in this particular lane that you're in?
Sure. So I got my start way back, right? I've been in this industry for a minute in 2012. I started off with the Staccato Beat magazine. So I started off just interviewing my friends, some of my family members who were doing big things in their industries in February of 2012, right? And then in April of 2012, I went to go see Reverend Shirley Caesar get crowned the Queen of Gospel
Mm,
as one of only 3 members of the press that could photograph the event. That's kind of like my big break, my big opportunity, my big moment in the industry through a personal friend of mine who I got connected with Reverend Glenda Murray Kelly. She invited me to come along, and history happened, right? So that's how I got started.
Shirley Caesar. So you
Yes.
started at the top. God wasn't playing with you. God was like, hey, okay, the world didn't end. 2012, they said the world was going to be over with. You understand what I'm saying? So instead of the
Right.
world being over with, you walked into a place and began, you know, at the top. So what was that feeling
Yeah.
like for you, starting there, going from, how you started, how you just named, friends and family to bam, right here.
It was a blessing. It was truly a blessing. And I remember when I was in that church sanctuary, sitting in the front 2, 3 rows, seeing all those people and having my name listed among, the photographers and, the press that was going on. It was like a surreal moment for me. Because like I said, I had just started in February and here it is April now. So it was a surreal moment, but I was very thankful and I was very grateful for the opportunity that was presented to me. Shout out to Benita Rivera and Reverend Glenda Murray Kelly for that opportunity. Shout out to both of them.
Okay, so what was the next move after that? What led you into, the deeper intricacies in regards to, black media, things like that? Did you have any influences prior or what was that step after?
Sure. So, going beyond just interviewing different celebrities and industry leaders, the main thing for me was inspiring the people, right? Motivating people, sharing the stories of people who had gotten to the top so that the people who were on their way up can get advice and can get insight, right, into the journeys. Because, we see on TV, we see the Hollywood true stories, you know what I mean? But that's not always people of color that are being featured, right? So I wanted to feature us and show our people how we got to the top. So that was very important for me to motivate and inspire. And then, fast forward, so that was 2012, fast forward to this year, I used to be an event planner, still am an event planner, but events started slowing down, you know what I mean, in March when the pandemic hit. And we had a lot going on in our community, both in the Black community and the white community, in every community. Everyone has been affected, right, by the pandemic, including me. So I had to switch gears. I had to pivot, as they say. So what did I lean on? What did I go back to? My niche, you know what I mean? What I'm good at, which is journalism and being in the entertainment industry and entrepreneurialism, right? So Black Truth Media was born between this year and last year, and the Black Motivation broadcast, and taking the opportunity to highlight and showcase people who are still doing big things, still encouraging, still inspiring, still motivating, and still looking and give a look into their world, as well as talk to them about what's going on in our community today, to show that, you know, these people aren't out of touch. These people are hurting as much as we are, you know, and they see what's going on, you know, and they're taking steps and taking strides to get involved in the community as well. So that's kind of like the purpose and the vision behind Black Truth Media and the Black Motivation broadcast.
Now, what are a few stories that you can share that kind of surprised you when you got to talking to people and things like that? You know, whether it was regular people or some of these celebrities that you talked about. What were some of the things that you could share story wise? You don't have to say who it was or whoever, but
Sure.
like what were some of the things that you was like, oh, wow, you never know.
Okay. Sure thing, definitely. So one of the stories that sticks out to me was one of my earlier interviews, right? Not gonna name names, but this person, if you're watching the interviews, you know, you'll know who I'm talking about, was sitting on a plane. They had just come from a project that they were working on, a big project, right? And in the story that they were telling me, they ended up sitting on a plane next to the CEO of the company they just did the project for. So they were talking about, you know, what we were doing on the plane, where we were going, you know, where we were coming from. And that person was like, man, that sounds familiar. You know what I mean? So it's just, you never know who you're sitting next to. You never know, who is going to be in your inner circle and your inner space. And you never know when you're going to need the opportunity, you know what I mean, to have your elevator pitch. You know, when you never know how you need to represent yourself. You need to represent yourself 100 every single day, because you never know who's watching. You know, so that's one of the stories that stuck out to me. Let me see another story that stuck out to me. Let me think about this. There's been so many. There's been so many. I've done like 40 or 50 interviews since I first started earlier this year. Uh, but that's one definitely that sticks out to me the most, for sure. Oh, another interview that sticks out to me for sure. A story about an interview, one of my interviewees who was very involved in the entertainment industry, right? And you never know what's going on behind the scenes in some of these campaigns and some of these, things that we see going on in the entertainment industry. We never know what's going on behind the scenes. But in this particular interview, they talked about how they mobilized the Black community, right? They took people, hundreds of people from different areas and different places, and really got people on the ground, right? Hired people, put money in people's pockets, right? And really help the Black community to grow behind a campaign of one of these entertainers, one of these celebrities that was putting out a new product or, doing a new movement, right? So these are the people that we need to know about, people who are in the entertainment industry, right, who we think are inaccessible or who are not as accessible, but who are actually doing things for the Black community and really trying to build us up. So those were two interview stories that really not only just surprised me, but I was grateful for and thankful for, because they were reminders to me as well.
That's amazing. I'm coming up on
For
like
sure.
2,000 shows with this platform. I
Awesome.
mean,
Awesome. Amazing.
it never gets old when you sit down
It
with
doesn't.
somebody and you get a chance to hear a story. A story can be a reminder, it could be a motivator, it can be a tear jerker. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
Yes.
sometimes I put my hand over my heart sometimes hearing some of
Right.
these
Right.
stories. And, our people overcoming adversity, challenges, walking in success, finding love, all of these things, right? You see what I'm saying? And,
Right.
and it's amazing, these stories. Like the people look for diversity. I know great diversity people who are pushing for diversity. I said,
Right.
our people, Black people, are the most diverse people on the earth. They're unique like raindrops, unique like snowflakes. They're two not alike. You can sit three of us in
No.
the room, you get three completely different people. To one person,
Yeah.
well, might get three different people also. You understand what I'm saying? So I think it's just amazing to be able to sit with people and hear their stories and give them space to share their stories. So when I saw your story and what you were doing for people, I was like, you know, who interviews the interviewer? Let me see if I can get
Right, right.
this amazing woman on and hear about her.
Oh, I
You
appreciate you. Thank
obviously
you.
a woman of faith.
Yes.
How has your faith helped you, through your life and through this particular time?
Sure, not a problem. I mean, I got to give all honor and glory to God for everything that He has done for me from beginning to end, and everything that He will continue to do for me, right? If I wasn't for Him, I wouldn't be here, right? Point blank, period. You know what I mean? There's been some struggles and some different things that I've gone through in my life that I know I wouldn't be here, right, if it wasn't for Him. So, as far as like my faith and my story, my testimony, um, there's never been a time when I didn't know that God was present for me. I got saved at the tender age of 8, right? I was in vacation Bible school, slid my hand up, slid my hand back down, gave my life to Christ, and He's been a part of my life ever since. So for sure, definitely, specifically during the pandemic, I was just starting to, really branch out with my events. I had partnerships with Macy's, partnerships with Carolina Kitchen. Shout out to Don Moss and shout out to Jonathan. And so, I was really starting to just come into my own and blossom. And then, the pandemic hit. Nobody was trying to go out and do a singles mixer or a speed dating event, right? During the pandemic. But we had to innovate. We had to change. And I prayed about it. And God gave me the vision to start the Black Motivation broadcast. And I started out, again, just interviewing people who I connected with in the past. And God was able to grant me bigger and different opportunities from there. So I really give, all, like I said, all honor and all glory to God, because He is the reason why I'm here for sure.
So let's talk about this book. You see, like it was
Yes,
coming. I was getting to this
yes,
book.
yes.
I need to know some stuff about this book. You understand what I'm
Okay,
saying?
okay.
Uh, let's hear the book story. Can you share with us the book journey?
I can. So it's a very interesting story to me, anyways. I used to do a blog back in 2010 called, and my moniker, my name, I didn't go by Ashley, I went by One Single Lady. And so basically, I talked about issues that single Christian women go through, right? Men, issues with other women, issues with our relationship with God, whether it's, doubting ourselves, comparing ourselves, low self esteem, different issues, different things that we would go through. But I always backed up everything I said in every blog post with scripture. And so the blog became really popular. More people started viewing it. I started, doing more articles. And eventually somebody asked me, like, why don't you start a book? Why don't you write a book about, what you've been talking about, so that more people can access and, can find out more about, what God has done for you and the lessons and the stories that have been passed down to me by my sisters, my aunties, my uncles, everybody who's poured into me over the years. So that's kind of how the book was originated. I started doing the blog in 2012 and finally finished the book, self-published on Amazon in 2017. So it was a journey, but it was well worth it. For sure.
So what did you learn about yourself? Along this path and journey of writing a book. Are books still important? What's been the response for the book? Blah blah blah. Why should people
Sure.
read the book?
What's the last question?
Why should people read the book? What was the
Why
last
should people
question?
read the book? Okay. All right. So as far as the response has been amazing. I sold 500 copies of the book in the first year myself, pounding the streets, right? On the metro, at the bus stop, wherever. I was getting this book out there. And it's really touched me, the words that I've heard from women who have read the book, who have passed the book to their sister and be like, hey, you need to read this book because it's really going to encourage you. It's a 31-day devotional guide, right? So you can read it straight through or you can read it day by day. But really, there's something in it for everybody. I've had men, deacons at my church who read the book who were single at the time. Now, at the time, they were single. Now they're married, right? So at the time, they were single, and they told me there was something in the book for me. They supported me and bought the book, and they said, I can relate to some of the things that you're saying, not about the men, obviously, but about having a relationship with God and being a single Christian person. So that's why you should buy the book. Whether you're a male or a female, there's something in it for everybody. And there's advice that's been given to me that I'm passing down to you, right? That was the reason why I wrote the book. So that women who don't have the opportunity, some of them don't have to have sisters, aunties, grandmothers pour into them, they can read and hear the inspiration that God has given me and the words that God has given me and the words in the Bible, right? To encourage them.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. And you let it leak a little bit that you got another series that you're coming out with?
I have another book that I'm coming out with. Yes, next year. I have a
Okay.
publisher that is interested in publishing the second book in the series. So, I'm not going to give away any names, but it will be focusing more on our relationship with God than our relationship with each other, whether it be a male-female relationship or with our sisters in Christ. So that is the little leak, dropping a little hint, little bug in your ear. Next year, there will be a second edition of One Single Lady, A Guide to Single Christian Living.
Okay. So now, what about motivational speaking? What kind of got you
So,
into that arena, and what advice would you give to some sisters, to some younger sisters, to some older sisters, who are looking to get into this particular field? Share with them some of that ancient wisdom you had.
sure. So the first thing I would say is just start, right? Even in the pandemic, there's a lot of opportunities to get your work out there, right? So I've been doing spoken word since in this area since 2012. So right, the magazine was born in 2012. I started doing spoken word in the DMV, going out to different open mic nights in 2012. So a lot happened that year for me, right? I went to my first event in January. The magazine was started in February. So my thing is to just start. You got to start getting out in front of audiences. You got to start writing, start working on your material. Another thing I would definitely advise, start reading books. I'm a huge fan and advocate for reading books, advice books, self-help books, entrepreneurship books, motivational speaking books, reading and listening to other people talk about how to become a motivational speaker, because the keys are out there, right? That's the purpose of my broadcast, is to give you the keys, to give you the tools. Well, there's a lot of people like me who've either written books or done YouTube videos or done TED Talks, right, on motivational speaking. So there's always an opportunity, whether it's free or paid, to improve your motivational speaking skills, and then get out in front of your friends. Like eventually the community that I used to do spoken word around, they became my friends, they became my family, So I definitely say just get out there, whether it's doing Instagram open mics to start out there, because there are a lot of like Busboys and Poets, for example. If you follow their pages, Busboys and Poets has open mics nights that you can get on and be live and do your work, spit your truth. So there's definitely a lot of opportunities. You just got to get out there and find them, for sure. That's a few.
So how did you overcome that? I don't know if I would call it shyness or whatever it is, to get out there, to be that social butterfly, to start connecting with people, to start networking, to start moving towards those opportunities. I think a lot of us have that. They have the after, they have the talent, they have the skills, they have the whatever. But when you get to talking to them, they kind of, clam up, they kind of get
Right.
defensive, they kind of, you see what I'm saying? Like, if you had to work through that, how did you work through that, and what are some things that people can do to kind of overcome that right there?
Sure. So again, my advice might sound harsh, might not sound fun. My advice is to get out there and do it. And I'll tell you a story. So I work in the home improvement industry. So back in the day, back in 2012, again, look at that year, very important year, I started doing marketing in the home improvement industry. And I was very shy. I was very quiet, right? I was very like in my own little bubble. And it's funny because the consultant for the home improvement company that I worked for, he interviewed me first before I interviewed with the managers. And he later told me, I didn't think you were going to make it, you know what I mean? But I saw something in you. And I knew that if we pulled it out of you, you were going to be the best. And so I remember I was standing in that first marketing opportunity, right, by myself after training. And I was like, hi, my name is Ashley Jones. Would you like to do this? Would you like to do that? And my manager was like, oh no, we can't do this. We got to be big. We got to be loud. You know what I mean? You got to grab people's attention. There is no time for this. And I literally had to tell myself, this is what it is. Let's get to it. And I had to change that. And so I had to keep putting myself in spaces, though, right, to get opportunity to do that. It's all about practice. Practice makes perfect, right? So the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. But if you don't put yourself in those spaces, if you don't read, if you don't watch, if you don't look at the things you need to be looking at, you're not going to improve, right? You're not going to have the opportunity to get to the level that you want to be at. So you got to take that first step and you got to start putting yourself out there. The more you put yourself out there, the more people will get to know you, the more you'll get to know people, the more comfortable you'll get. The more you talk to people, the better you'll get at networking. But again, it all goes back to your research, right? Watching the TED Talks, reading the books. There's a lot of great books that you can read. And before this interview, I'm going to think of some to give you to read. Before this interview is over. But at the time, I say read, and watch to get yourself out of that shell. And definitely step out there and do it.
Got the skills. Okay. So I want to go back to the show again. You said the show started like around last year,
around
or
March
so.
of this year.
March of this year.
Mm-hmm. My business started last year. The show started March of this year.
So I watched some of the episodes, and your approach is amazing. You bubbly, you full of life, you make your guests feel at home, like you hone in on certain things, like what's kind of like your I wouldn't say secret sauce, but kind of like your methodology, like what's your goal for each interview, or does it change depending upon who's your guest?
Well, I would say I have 3 goals, right? Magic number is 3. My first goal is to make everyone feel at home, whether you're in the audience, whether you're across from me, and me as well, right? When you come into my house, I want you to feel at home. I want you to feel completely comfortable. So I bring you on a little bit before, we chop it up, we chat, we work some of those nerves out, and then we get on and I send you the questions in advance too, right? So you get the questions in advance, you're prepared, or you should be if you read them, right? And then, I kind of make sure I know a lot about my topic, my topic meaning my guest. So if I'm bringing you on, I'm asking you questions about your subject matter, your field of expertise. I'm asking you questions about your life and your story, right? So things that you're familiar with, something that's easy for you to talk about, and something that's going to be interesting to my audience as well, right? Because I'm staying in tune, I'm not tone deaf or out of touch with what they want to hear either. So my first goal is to make you feel at home. My second goal is to educate and inspire, right? Because I want people to come away from the interview knowing something that they didn't know before, whether that's about my guest or about the subject matter that my guest is talking about, or both. Hopefully both, right? Didn't know something about the guest, didn't know something about the topic. Now they know something about both. And my third goal, right, is obviously to get my name out there and to get the name of the person who I'm interviewing out there if they're lesser known, right? Because we're all about creating opportunities, not just for myself, but for my guest as well. So hopefully my guest gets another interview based on the fact that they interviewed with me, right? Somebody reaches out to them and buys their product. Somebody reaches out to them and inquires about their service. Somebody reaches out to them on social media, because at that last question I ask is, where can we find you on social media? How can we support you on the web? So I want to promote, I want to educate and inspire, right? And I want you to feel at home when you step into the arena of the Black Motivation broadcast.
The arena of the Black Motivation broadcast. That's what I'm talking about. The arena. That's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up. So, do you have anything coming up at this moment that you can talk to us about, other than you kind of hitting at the book? Is there anything else in the interim that you can share? Events you may have coming up, shows you have lined up that you can share also with us.
Sure thing. Yes, we'll have some really interesting interviews coming up, of course. We have Pastor Charles Simmons, who's going to be an awesome guest. We're going to be talking about our faith, talking about the journey to become a pastor, right? And talk about interacting with the world around us, being in the world, but not of the world, right? We're going to be talking about, some fun topics regarding the church, separation of church and state. Some fun stuff like that. I'm going to be talking with Josiah the Prince, who's a producer and an engineer and an artist. We're going to be talking to him about that world of being a musician, being a producer, being an engineer, fun stuff like that. And also fun news, fun stuff. I'm actually working on developing my own TV channel, right? Like Oprah. So be on the lookout for that. Yeah, snap for that, right? So some of the interviews will be exclusive to that channel. So be on the lookout for when I release that channel so that we can, talk about it. We can get some advertisers on there, right? So if you want to advertise to the channel, there's going to be opportunities for that. So be on the lookout for when that comes out.
Snap, we on TV. We going on TV. We going on TV. That's what I'm talking about, right?
Hey.
Such an inspiration,
A lot to look forward
such a
to.
motivation, right? Right. Last month we did sisterhood empowerment. Well, it's November now. Last month was brotherhood empowerment. The month before that was sisterhood empowerment. So I think this month I ain't announced it yet, but I guess I'll announce it now. We do like Black Family Empowerment Month. So do
Okay.
you have a message for the brothers, the sisters, and for the family?
I do. So many times, right? We have struggles, we have strife with our families, but we really need to stick together because oftentimes at the end of the day, you might have your best friend, right? You might have your boyfriend. Hopefully you have your husband, you have your wife, right? But the immediate family, including your husband and your wife, is so very important because they're your support system at the end of the day. When you don't have anyone else, you have your family. So shout out to my family, to my mom and dad, my brother, my sister, my nucleus, right? Because these are the people that are around me that mean the most to me, because they're the ones who gave me life, right? Shout out to my boyfriend as well. You know what I mean? All those fun people in my life. Shout out to my mentors who may be watching. Thank you so much for everything that you've poured into me and shared with me and given to me because you guys, my family, my mentors, my friends, my boyfriend, y'all the reason why I have the opportunity to be up here because I'm standing on your shoulders, right? You guys are supporting me as I'm going through the different things I'm going through either personally or professionally. And you guys are going to be the ones that will be there at the end of the day when I reach wherever God has for me. So I want to say I appreciate y'all. And for the Black family, we've got to stick together. We have got to support and encourage each other and not tear each other down.
That's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up. So as we move to close here, do you have any final thoughts of inspiration, motivation? Do you have ways, as you said, that people can support you, and support what you're doing, your endeavors, things like that? And if someone was looking to be a guest on your platform, when does it come on? How do they get in contact with you in order to be a guest and social media, things like that?
Sure. So let's start with social media. You can find me everywhere you can find me, right? At Black Truth Media. So it's Facebook, that's YouTube, that's Instagram, at Black Truth Media, spelled the traditional way, BLACKTRUTHMEDIA. Black Truth Media on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. If you are interested in being a guest on the Black Motivation broadcast, you can send me an email at blacktruthmedia1@gmail.com. Again, that's blacktruthmedia1@gmail.com. So for everyone who is watching, who has been watching this whole time, thank you so much for watching. And my bit of motivation or inspiration to you is to just do it, right? Like Nike says, but don't just do it. One of the things I've been talking about in this interview that I want everyone to know and to be aware of is to just do it even if you're scared, even if you're afraid. But what you need to do if you are scared or if you're afraid is to pray and ask God to give you the strength and the encouragement and the wisdom to just do it. Thank you so much for everyone tuning in. This has been an awesome, awesome opportunity. Thank you so much, Knowledge Born Allah, for having me on this episode because it has been awesome and I appreciate you.
That's what I'm talking about. I appreciate you, and I look forward to checking out your broadcast. One of these days, when I get my weight up in the world, I'll be a guest over there. You understand what I'm saying?
We definitely gonna have to
And
have you
we can
on for
do it
sure.
together. So, can we go through the website real quick since we have it right
Sure.
here?
Sure.
To
Yes.
make
Thank you so much
sure.
for bringing that up. So yes, you can check out
Yes.
the About Us page. You can get on here and view some of our videos on the Black Motivation Broadcast link in the top upper left-hand corner. And also you can see some of the photographs from previous events that I've done as an event planner for Black Truth Media, which would be different singles mixers that I've done, but this talks about the mission, it talks about our goals, and a couple of quotes that, are important to me, like networking means to net opportunities for working together. That's one of my quotes that I created, right? Networking means to net opportunities for working together. So yes, this is one of the events that, as we scroll down, that I partnered with Macy's. I did a beauty event last year with them where we did facials and we did different makeovers and talked about skincare. So here's some of the guests who had makeovers done. Don't they look gorgeous? Makeovers done at this event that we had with Macy's. And then this is one of our first singles mixers when we partnered with Carolina Kitchen. We had a ton of people. It was super fun. People walked away with dates afterwards and numbers in their phones. So it was a super fun event for sure. And it was all about positivity, no negativity at my events. And then this is a little video that I had a photographer do as a promo while we were at the event. So this is like, some little footage. So if you go to the website, you can check it out, see what one of my events was like when Corona, clears up, we might be able to, have another singles mixer and make some couples happen, make some magic happen. I am planning on having an AMC movie night. So if you are in the DMV, keep an eye out on the Black Truth Media page because I will be having a social distancing movie night coming up. So keep an eye out for that.
Oh snap! Oh snap!
Yes. Yes, for sure. And this is the last singles mixer that we did at Alice's Jazz and Cultural Society. So that's what those pictures were. Right there. We had comedian Tommy Taylor Jr., shout out to him, come out and light up the stage with his hilarious comedy. That's him in the upper left-hand corner in the red pants and the black shirt. And we just had fun. It was a red and black affair, so everyone dressed in red and black. We just had an awesome time. So that was right before Valentine's Day, too. So, some people were booed up after the event. Had some Valentine's Day dates.
Booed up. That's what I'm talking
Booed
about.
up.
Let's go to about us.
Sure.
Yeah.
So this is kind of another, monikers talking about what I'm doing with my broadcast, shaping the worldviews one video at a time, one interview at a time. You scroll back up and we can scroll down. You just learn more about us, more about me, which is what we've been doing this whole time, right? Awesome.
Right? Right? Let's go to
Right.
Black Motivation Broadcast. Bam.
And this is where you can see a playlist of
See
some
that
of the
fire
videos.
logo?
That logo was created by my sister, Megan Jones. Get it, girl. Come to her for all your logo needs.
Right.
Keeping it in the family. So if you were to press play, it
Got
would go through a playlist of some of the videos that we've done on the Black Motivation Broadcast. It's a YouTube playlist. Let's see which interview we starting out with. Oh, we have some technical difficulties.
So you got the lawyer up in here?
The lawyer, yes, Derek E. Thomas Esquire was one of my most interesting interviews. He talked about Black businesses needing lawyers, and he also talked about becoming a lawyer, what that process is like, the importance of law school, all that. So we were live with Derek E. Thomas Esquire. Super fun interview. He was really nice. Thank you so much for him. Shout out to him for granting the interview.
The magician in her element, you see her? this warmness. You see what I'm saying? This warm, impactful, insightful, creative mind with the versatility of skills. You see that? That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about. And she dressed fly. You see that? She ain't playing out here.
Hey,
Okay. All right.
not at all. No. It's not a game.
Definitely.
I love that shirt. It's by Greenwood Distribution. It says Hustle and Nutrition Facts at the top. And then it has like, percentages for 100% everything that we need as a woman to get our hustle on. Okay. So if you need that t-shirt, you know where to find me, Black Truth Media Inc. I can help hook you up.
That's what I'm talking about. So when does the broadcast come on? It's on tonight, right? You have one tonight?
Yes, so the broadcast is on tonight. We do have Wednesday and Sunday interviews. So tonight we have Derek Owens, whose family business has been earned well over $1 billion. Okay, this man is a business media mogul. And you're going to want to hear all about what he's got to say about building a business, about his mom and what he learned from her, who was a top executive with Motown Records. I'm not going to get into all the questions, right? But I'm just going to let you know this is not an interview you want to miss at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Then on Sunday,
Right.
I will be being interviewed again, so y'all need to check that out with Jason Swanson, CEO of Omnio. So we're going to have another interview with me. And also, we're going to have a special guest. So I'm going to let y'all go to Black Truth Media, the Facebook page, like and follow, so you guys can see what's going on Sunday on my interview that I'm having on the Black Motivation broadcast. I'm not going to give it away. You got to go to the page to find out who's going to be.
Easter egg it, okay? Get your Easter egg on and find that egg out here, okay? Well, I definitely thank you for your time, for your jewels, for your gems, for your humor, for your hardline approach, and for the love, okay? For the love.
It's all
And
love.
hopefully
All love.
you don't be a stranger. You're welcome back here anytime, and this is yours to keep. You can put it on your website. You can put it wherever, to use for your promotional tools. Enjoy the rest of
Thank
your day.
you.
Again, thank you, and thank you.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. We out.